Jesus Christ! Ah! I am not saying this is the best episode of New Who ever, but to me, this is the best episode of New Who ever. It's this fantastic, contained story of a mystery, and the Doctor's trying to solve it in a puzzle box castle, like what's that board game called? The Amazing Maze, something like that. And just everything in it is just perfectly set up, to me at least. Peter Capaldi is by himself and the gigantic monster's chasing him down, and it's scary and it stomps a lot and it just goes thump, 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 and when it touches him it will kill him. And from start to finish, it's engaging. Fucking, I love it, but I want to kiss it to death. This is seriously, Heaven Sent is currently my. Maybe I'm just on a high, but it just feels so fantastically. Oh, that was me gushing just for a moment there. Got So the Doctor being trapped in a castle that changes every time he confesses something, which is fantastic because it's been set up all this time. So the Doctor gradually revealing parts about his character that we knew, like he's scared of dying, he's missing Clara, obviously, she's only just died, and the monster chasing him only gives way when he admits something about himself he doesn't want to admit. That's a fantastic bit of writing, and at first it's like, why does it do this? So you kind of dismiss it like, oh, it's sci-fi fantasy, or sci-fantasy, or whatever you want to call it. But the castle itself is a bit. It's good. It's okay. It's okay. It's like it's got that twinge to it, like mixture of technologies, like it's medieval, but it's like it's got the future teleporter in it, and these gears. But it's all explained in the end anyway. And at first, when you see, I don't even know where to begin. Lovely little bits, like when the Doctor first escapes the veil, or at least the veiled woman, or the monster that looks like the veiled woman, but might just be his nightmare. And he retreats to himself inside his mind, his little mind palace. You know, like, how Sherlock was that? We all know that was Sherlock. But I love that. It's like, retreat to yourself and then start thinking, and he starts calculating. And the Doctor has been known to slow time down for his own perception in the past, I think. Christopher Eccleston did it, I think, in The End of the World with the gigantic rotating vents. But he starts thinking out loud, at least inside his mind he starts thinking out loud, or whatever that sounds like. It's just gloriously brilliant. I'm like, oh my god, this is genius, in a way, for a TV show about a time-travelling alien. Right. Okay. And then he's like, oh, the stars are not right, because they're in the wrong place, and I haven't travelled anything further than a light year. Oh, it's all just set up for the brilliant conclusion. It's like bird. Why a bird? Why is there a focus on the word bird, even though the bird is the word? We all know that. We all know the Family Guy reference. Us Dutch have a different reference for about the bird, but never you mind. So, when we get to the bit where the TARDIS is in the story, is locked behind that denser than diamond wall, and the Doctor just starts punching it. It's like, okay, have you just given up? And then he just completely fucking blows the ship of Theseus Theseus. Theseus, two different words. Theseus, Theseus. Theseus, Thesis, out of the water. For the people that don't know what I'm talking about, it's the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where Will Riker, oh my god, I am a nerd, gets cloned via a teleportation accident, and they're like, who's the real Will Riker? Are they both the real Will Riker? The ship of Theseus is basically, if you get a ship from your father, but you fix the mast, and then you fix the rudder, and then you fix the hull, and then you fix the insides, and you fix the sail, and you fix everything about it, the portholes, the whatever's, I don't even know ships that well, and I'm actually quite surprised I managed to get that many bits and pieces out there before running out of steam at the end of my sentence. When you replace so much of a ship, is it still the original ship? Is it still the ship your father gave you? According to Discworld dwarfs, the axe of your father is still your father's axe. It doesn't matter what you replaced. But the ship of Theseus, in regards to teleportation, gets used, and I really thought that was interesting, because this is not the first time we see the Doctor here, apparently, or it is the first time we see the Doctor here, but it's not the first time the Doctor had been there, and I was like, that's just so great, so, beg your pardon, I was like, oh my god, really? And it started with 7,000 years, and there's like 12,000 years, and in the end the Doctor supposedly had been there for 2 billion years and plus and counting, and all because in his little mind palace he talks to Clara, and Clara writes messages and questions for him because she's the teacher. And the thing that always does it, every time he gets off his arse, and they say arse on TV, they say arse on Doctor Who, Clara tells him to get off his arse and do something, and that's when the word bird gets a reference again, because the Brothers Grimm, who were in his dance group apparently, I haven't even touched on everything yet. The veiled woman or creature is trying to make the Doctor confess his most heinous truths, and it's not working, because in the end he always starts reciting the story of the Brothers Grimm, how a bird that sharpens its beak on a diamond mountain at one point will tear away at the mountain. So the Doctor is punching a denser than diamond wall, 52 feet thick, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just, oh. You're like, okay, and then it starts to loop again. And then the Doctor starts telling the story again, because you see the episode coming back, and I'm like, that montage, oh my god. And it gets a little bit further in his story every time, and then again, like the bird that sharpens his beak on a mountain, and then he dies again, and then he comes back again, and then he does everything else, and he starts telling the story again, and it gets a little bit further, and he gets further and further into a 50-foot thick wall, denser than diamond, just by punching it. And then in the end, it all turns out to be the confession dial. Words coming back has never been done more properly than that, I think, because the confession dial was in the original opening episode 2-parter with the Magician's Apprentice and the Witch's Familiar, and immediately as soon as you see it close up, you're like, now you know what it does. That's what the confession dial does. It traps you in your own little personal hell, and it tries to make you say things that people need to know from you, apparently. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And every step of the way, Peter Capaldi is just entertaining the audience by himself, and even fucking points it out. He's like, well, I'm nothing without an audience. Wink at the camera, even though he didn't actually wink at the camera. Oh, and everything we know was wrong, and oh, everything we know was right, and all I'm saying is, oh, Paul McGann, Paul McGann, Paul McGann, Paul McGann. oh, the ending, the next time, I so fucking called that. But I called the thing about the doctor seeing Clara die and then travelling back to the past absolutely improperly. I got that wrong. You'd think I'd actually say the thing I called properly before. Maybe I'll just edit previous ones and re-upload them, you know. You know. Oh, heaven sent.